Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today, Monday morning, August 31st, the end of Jumanji Level 8. I don't care. That joke's still funny to me. I'm the man they call Meathead, and it's Monday morning. We are waking up in the afterglow of WWE Payback, and joining me every Monday morning is Linda Cake.
Good morning, Meathead. It's almost September.
Feeling? Welcome back to the PWR draft. I just said that, before we went on the air. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It feels great to get back into the swing of things, or, inch a little bit further and further up the standings.
There you go. Welcome back, Drew Baydala, as well.
Yes.
I mean, Drew with a big win last night. He's got a champion on his roster now.
Absolutely.
So
a lot of changes have happened.
What's that?
A lot of changes.
Most of them I don't like, but that's just me being me. Let's talk WWE Payback. That was last night on the WWE Network. You said a kind of a unique thing to me. It wasn't necessarily a throwaway pay-per-view, but it was a pay-per-view that happened a week after the last pay-per-view. So I thought maybe that it would be something like we couldn't get you on SummerSlam. We're going to throw you on Payback. We got pretty much the other portions of talents show up for this, except for a couple of the main events where, guys showed up and had wrestled the week before. But, what was your words again? You said it was a hyped up what?
Raw or SmackDown, perhaps?
Could be. I'm doing a De Niro face here for some reason. Could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I thought it delivered more than it was going to, honestly, with all the surprises and I think it delivered. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the show. The kickoff, Riot Squad defeating the Iconics. I liked the match was one thing, but what I liked is the Riot Squad showing up at the pre-show stage, the table right after doing the post-match interview. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? They just definitely look more like a tag team. I mean, they were already, having a unique look when they were the Riot Squad, but now they're in matching but different attire, and they showed that, or like in the match where the Iconics was trying to make Liv think that Ruby Riot hit her, but she didn't, and so she did what was in her gut, which was to still help her partner, and obviously that led to great things, because not only do they get the win, but as you said, they got to do their nice post-match interview at the commentators table. So yeah, that was really neat to see. I like them. I do like them, and I hope they do continue their push together and keep them together, not have one turn on the other. Let's let them grow with just the two of them in the Riot Squad.
Absolutely. So that was the pre-show. Nobody has Riot Squad or Iconics in the PWR draft, but the big show, Payback, starts off, and I wondered why this wasn't on SummerSlam. I wondered why they hadn't gone this direction before, but I just had a bad feeling when we started off the show. Bobby Lashley taking on Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. Things, I could smell it in the air. This was not going to be for Apollo Crews at all. Bobby Lashley slapping on the full Lashley, or did he call it the full Lashley on purpose or accident?
I'm not sure. I heard that, and I was like, oh. I was thinking it was by accident, but
it's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Just like new United States champion, Bobby Lashley. The Hurt Business has got a championship belt again, and this one can't be won in the back of the building. This one has to be won in the ring.
Right. Yeah, I'm really loving the Hurt Business. Number one, they came out looking sharp in their suits.
MVP shaved. Goatee's gone. Beard's gone.
Yes. Well, you know what? The match itself, we got the high-flying action. We got Apollo standing moonsault and that tremendous frog splash that he had. I wasn't sure if he was going to win with that. And obviously, Bobby Lashley kicked out, and then we got the full Nelson or full Lashley with the hooks in and making Apollo Crews submit. So that was a neat twist to seeing his finisher. But yeah, I loved it. And I also popped when MVP grabbed that photographer at the end of the match, and they had those still shots.
I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? Okay, hold on. Yeah, there it is. It's like their trip to Magic Mountain.
Yes.
That's what it looked like
to me. Cost like $20 for each photo.
Exactly. Don't worry, you can pick up your photos on the way out.
Exactly. But no,
So Bobby Lashley wins, new United States champion. Apollo Crews attacks afterwards in a non-face move. That's, we've heard Shane Helms say this a few times. Stop smiling. Apollo Crews went after him afterwards and showed some aggression. I don't have a problem with this. Like I said, he's supposed to be the babyface, but I don't have a problem with him lashing out. No pun intended on Bobby Lashley and the Crew. See how I did that twice there with the Crew part?
Yes. But yeah, I agree. This obviously is a feud that will continue with Apollo Crews going up the ramp saying it's not over, or that he'll get it back. So I don't know if this ultimately will lead to Apollo Crews joining the Hurt Business, because if he does eventually, I think he definitely adds to what's already a huge faction to me.
Sure. Okay. And maybe that's where MVP pulls back and doesn't have to wrestle as much anymore. Because remember, MVP retired on Raw and kept wrestling after that. I mean, the retirement didn't stick, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Do the retirements ever stick, though?
But, I mean, at least they give him a chance to breathe, to marinate. Dude, he retired and he was wrestling the next week.
Right.
All right. So, like I said, welcome back to the PWR draft. You had Big E wrestling representing New Day, defeating Sheamus.
Yes. Yeah. Going into this, I thought their feud was somewhat thrown together quickly, and this was one match, honestly, I was thinking I didn't know. I felt this was something that could have maybe been on SmackDown, whether it didn't have been. I know they had that 6-man tag last week, but maybe it could have been this week. But it was great to see, though, Big E winning, obviously, because he is on Team Long Time. But I am loving this singles push. Not only is he on Team Long Time, but I love Big E himself. And, these days we all need more power of positivity.
Yep.
So I am glad he did defeat Sheamus. And did you see how he was all in Corey Graves' face at the end? I was like, wow, I think some of that was shoot heat.
Yeah, I think so. And this Big E push that's happening, which is going to benefit Team Long Time in the long run, is kind of reminiscent of, and it's ironic that it's being led by Miz, because this is the same thing Miz did on a post show that WWE created to let people know that he had intensity. This started off on Talking Smack, where Miz says, you know what, dude, I love your work. I think you're an up-and-comer, but I got told by the office to knock off the jokey stuff. And when I knocked off the jokey stuff, I was a champion. Dude, you're a good worker, but, flipping pancakes at people isn't going to make you a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So right. It's reminiscent. We've seen it before, but it's only going to help Big E. And to be honest, right when I saw this match, I didn't know it was announced until literally watching the match. I'm like, well, I guess I know what Sheamus is back for, and that's fine. Sheamus will get a run at some point, but Sheamus is just here to put over the boys, and that's fine. He might get a win here or there, but then, the person that he's putting over is going to get the last win, just like they did with Hardy. So who's Sheamus going to put over next? I mean, Sheamus is just here to work, it looks like. I mean, because Sheamus's strength as a character that can go in and destroy people is not there right now. Big E ran right over him, I think.
Yeah, but they did, go over Sheamus's accolades, but with the exception of the Bar being his tag team, being the most recent championship for Sheamus, as far as the world title hunt, it's been a while as far as the singles run. So, like you said,
the thing he ever did was when he injured Triple H. I mean, that's really the last significant thing he's done as far as title.
Yes.
Well, Big E defeats Sheamus. Now, I took a second. I had the girls, my two girls, watching this with me. Like, girls, you're going to like this. This guy right here, why are they carrying him out? My older daughter goes, because he's a king? I don't know. Let's listen to the name announcement. King Corbin. I'm like, see, I told you he was a king. Yeah, but he's a goofy king. You're going to like the next guy. He wears flip-flops and then kicks him off. Watch this. And then,
oh, yeah.
He came out and kicked off his flip-flops. That's funny. All right, do I have to watch more? No, you don't. Go ahead. So Matt Riddle defeats King Corbin, and this is the biggest win for him so far. They made a point. This happened twice last night. They made a point to say this is your first big match on pay-per-view. And they both, him and Keith Lee had their first match on pay-per-view. Matt Riddle defeats King Corbin. Your thoughts on Riddle versus Corbin?
bro, the way he got clotheslined as soon as he kicked off his slippers, which, sorry to admit, but I do do the slipper kickoff every time I'm watching SmackDown or even tonight or last night on Payback. I do that with Matt Riddle. Something funny. I keep that internal, but I just shared it to the world. But it was an upset victory, I thought. I mean, King Corbin being the strong heel that he is, and even coming out, being carried out as the king that he is, I thought that just kind of set precedence in him getting the win. But obviously, Matt Riddle got the win, but in a way, this was redemption for him. They brought in the backstage interview beforehand about how Corbin tweeted
that he was a failure at home.
Yeah, and that that definitely brought a frown onto Matt Riddle's face. So obviously he had that animosity inside of him for this match. And, I was surprised that Matt Riddle came with the win, but, I'm glad for that to happen because, anytime you bring something personal into play, I feel like that usually makes that person get the one up in the match. You know what I mean?
Sure. Hey, but no, Matt Riddle with the victory, his first pay-per-view win against King Corbin. Again, welcome Drew Baydala back to the PWR draft because Drew has Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, who they team with. He just has Shayna, but they defeat my girls, Bayley and Sasha, to become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I scored 5 points last night in the entire pay-per-view. 5 points, only because Sasha Banks and Bayley lost the championship. So match appearance loss, title loss, 5 points. Your winners and new tag team champions on the women's side, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Your thoughts on 1, them not getting along but being a tag team, 2, them talking to each other in match. We can do this. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is another odd and quick pairing of the two. I mean, originally I thought they'd be paired against each other. I mean, remember that Raw Underground fight that, I thought that was going to be the precursor to them getting a match at Payback, to be honest with you. And then they just had the backstage vignettes where they slap each other, push each other. And I'm like, okay, sometimes when WWE does these odd pairings, sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. I think this is working well. I was just kind of surprised that leading into it with them being such badasses that getting slapped would make me want to punch the person in front of me, not just take it and be like, well, we're not best friends, but,
I enjoyed your slap. Thank you. Thank you for hyping me up. I don't get hype. I stay hyped. Thank you so much.
Exactly. But, but going to this match, to be honest with you, I was shocked that they came with the win. I know that Sasha and Bayley are having their issues, and you can see that in their faces. Obviously ever since Sasha lost the title at SummerSlam, but
right.
I just didn't think it was going to happen at Payback because number one, like we kind of discussed, like it was still a good pay-per-view, but kind of a quote-unquote throwaway pay-per-view, but also just the quick pairing of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax as a tag team. And then, but I will say I did love that finish. It was very unique.
Amazing.
And the way she made Bayley tap by using Sasha's arm with that layup. That was amazing to see. And then I was thinking like, wow, I think this is going to happen because I kind of was thinking, all right, Bayley's got to tap to this because her and Sasha already have some heat going. Right. So, I was very surprised. But, the post-match interview, made me laugh too, just because it was continued shenanigans with Nia and Shayna. And they're both powerful. I feel like they could hold on to the titles for quite a while as well.
Sure. I mean, oddball pairings can work. I mean, I think of Daniel Bryan and Kane. I'm the tag team champions. I'm the tag team champions. That worked for me. I mean, there was another oddball pairing way back in the day with Kane. Matter of fact, I think his name was Sugar Shane Helms. Shane Helms, right? It was a Hurricane and Kane. The Hurricanes.
Yeah. It's amazing how some of, like you said, the odd pairings just work. And
sure.
And it usually ends up with them being champions at some point.
Absolutely. So, again, welcome back to the draft. Drew Baydala, Shayna Baszler wins you a ton of points there. Keith Lee making his pay-per-view debut, defeating Randy Orton. Randy Orton has lost on pay-per-view 2 weeks in a row. Now, will this hurt Randy Orton's character as the insane, the legend killer? Absolutely not. But I want it to be noted, Randy Orton lost at SummerSlam and the week after at WWE Payback. Keith Lee with the big win, not wearing the skirt tonight, wearing actual trunks.
Yeah. But yeah, how about that heat with the outfit and the music? But anyways, this was another match I was very surprised at. I mean, obviously we know Keith Lee is a powerhouse and he's getting this big push, but facing Randy Orton in his first match against Randy Orton, on pay-per-view, but I just didn't think that Randy Orton would lose 2 weeks in a row in a pay-per-view, and it happened. Very surprised by that, but that the way he put Randy up in that spirit bomb, I mean,
yep, that was amazing.
So it was a clean win, and the way Keith Lee's getting this push, I mean, it really shows how much faith they have in him to lead. And I see it. You got to expect a title reign coming up very shortly for him in the main roster.
How? Who?
I just. He faced Randy Orton
beat the brand
and
new Bobby
him.
Lashley United States champion?
I don't know.
Is he going to take the 24/7 belt?
No, I don't think so. It's just so crazy because, we discussed this recently about how he just had 2 titles with NXT, relinquished one, and then ended up losing the main title to come to Raw.
And now it was a month.
Yeah, it was at the Grand American Bash where he won both. So
that's what I'm saying. We're complaining it was a month. We're going to talk about the main event in just a second here.
Yeah. But yeah, I am very surprised. I mean, but hey, you know what? Randy Orton does his thing. He's coming here to help, raise others onto the pedestal as well. So
sure.
Yeah. Well, what's next for Randy Orton? I mean, he's
going to chase Keith Lee because he's pissed off at Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre. And I credit to WWE not allowing Drew McIntyre to be on the show. Literally, Drew McIntyre better not be there tonight on Raw either.
Yeah, I mean, they put the report out. He's got was it hairline fractures or
something like that? But yeah. I mean, we need him to do an at-home interview. Something, but not there live in person. You need to be home convalescing.
Yeah.
So Keith Lee with the big win. Speaking about another win here, Rey and Dominic Mysterio defeating Seth Rollins and Murphy. And Murphy, really the reason this match went awry because Murphy ended up kicking Seth Rollins.
Yes. Can I just say finally? Well, kind of. Wait, hold on. I was thinking finally this Rollins Mysterio feud would be over, but then they ended the match saying that Seth and Rey are going to be on Raw tonight, facing each other again. But I mean, rewind a little bit. Another great match, a great showing by Dominic Mysterio. His big debut or TV debut last weekend, and then he gets his next, big pay-per-view the week right after, and great showing with him and his dad.
I'm glad that, and I didn't want to say it until we got here. I'm glad that Apollo Crews didn't win with the Frog Splash, because Dominic won with the Frog Splash.
Yeah.
That kind of bugged me a little bit, but we know why Dominic does the Frog Splash. That's Eddie. But Apollo Crews can do it, but it can't be the finish because Dominic's probably going to be using that as his finish.
Right. Yeah. The only thing that the match itself I thought was great, and the way Murphy ended up kicking Seth, because you kind of see it in Murphy's face, in the last couple of weeks, him kind of questioning Seth Rollins' directions. And
so did you watch the network at all after the pay-per-view went off the air?
Not last night, so.
Okay, so after the pay-per-view went off the air last night, they had a day in the life. It was SummerSlam of 2015.
Right.
Here's the irony of this. The opening segment, it was a day in the life of really Seth Rollins and everybody else. But Seth Rollins, somebody goes, you got kind of a Jesus look going. Maybe I can be like a disciple. I have light shining down on me. It took 4 years to get there, but that's might have been where it came from right there.
Yeah.
Secondly, I noticed something, and maybe I'm just being nitpicky here, and my daughter noticed it too. Coming up next, it'll be on Sunday, September 20th, Clash of Champions. Hi, I'm Michael Cole. Coming up in 4 weeks on Sunday, September 27th, Clash of Champions. Rewind. Yep, it says Sunday, September 20th. Hi, September 27th. Okay. Maybe you got a graphic wrong, but what date is it? I think it's the 27th, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure, but I got to make sure to pencil that in, at least the correct date in.
We'll find out tonight on Raw, and they'll probably notice that they made a gaffe, and they'll probably put out the correct promo. So,
yeah.
All right.
One thing I wanted to say about that last match, though, is
go ahead.
Murphy waiting forever for that 619. That was the only thing that was like, come on, you speed it up. So obviously we knew what was going to happen, but that was my only thing about that match. But again, great to see what I thought was hopefully going to be the end between
the end of the end.
But we know tonight there is one more match. So
yeah.
No more eyeballs being taken out, please.
And that's probably going to be the Murphy finish versus, say, the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins. It'll probably be the Murphy finish of that story.
Right.
All right, main event. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the Monster Braun Strowman, and then Roman Reigns showed up last week at SummerSlam, right? He was, we had been asking, what are we never going to see coming? Okay. I guess we never saw Roman Reigns coming and just attacking people. What we really didn't see coming was this past Friday on SmackDown as mailman Adam Pearce had to go into the funhouse, had to find Braun Strowman, and had to find Roman Reigns to get them all to sign this contract. Mailman Adam Pearce shows up in the funhouse, gets the sign. He finds Braun Strowman finally after he gets that match with Drew Gulak, gets the sign, and then he finds Roman. So we got to look this over, okay? I heard we. Oh, okay, we, whatever. And the camera shows it's a two-shot between Adam Pearce, Scrap Daddy AP, and Roman Reigns. He goes, you know what? I'm not signing this. Not until we get the changes we ask for. And he goes, I will show up. I will win this match. And that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. Pan back. Bam. Well, that's signed, the sealed, and delivered right there. Roman Reigns has a new advocate, and his name is Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns wins last night. The Fiend and the Monster going toe-to-toe in a great... this is probably the best match they've ever had. I'm going to tell you right now. I loved the match between Bray Wyatt and the Monster Braun Strowman over and over. The Fiend. I thought it was fantastic. For the third time in my wrestling career, I seen the ring explode. Okay, because, Brock and Big Show, and I can't remember the other one.
It was Braun and... I just remember every time the ref pretty much...
Charles, you took a little long to get out of the ring there, pal. Little Nate, buddy.
That was great.
The first one we saw do that, though, Taz yelling, holy shit. That, I was waiting for that, and neither Cole or whoever was calling match. I think it was Todd Phillips and Byron Saxon and Corey Graves. But I wanted, or not Corey Graves, I'm sorry, Samoa Joe. I wanted to hear holy shit, and I didn't hear it.
But it was nice to see that ring implosion again. And like I said, seeing Charles Robinson just hop over the rope. You got to love the refs.
Hey, nobody runs as fast as Little Nate, especially when he's running the ramp at WrestleMania 24.
Yes. But I did
a blur of blonde hair. I'm telling you, where Damien and I were sitting, we saw the whole thing going, look at him go.
But you were saying about the Fiend and Braun Strowman having their best match, and I agree with that. It was nice to see it take place in the wrestling ring. It wasn't in a swamp. They were really going at it. It was a no holds barred match. So I just found it interesting how, no one. Roman was obviously like on the bill, but technically he didn't sign the contract. Okay, but it's just no one begged to notice or care that he wasn't in the match. I guess that just showed the Fiend and Braun Strowman really wanting to get at it. So that was cool to see. But I got some appearance points during this match.
You got appearance points. She was back there playing with her hair. She went back to the Daddy's Little Monster look, the bird of prey, if you will, look. And I really loved on this last SmackDown, she had a bit of a dreadlock in there too. I absolutely love, again, I'm late to the party on this by 4 to 5 years. Okay. but I absolutely love Alexa Bliss, and I love what they're doing with her. And I think this is a really fresh, breath of fresh air with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, and with Alexa, where it's going.
Yeah, you called it, or at least you said this was what you were hoping
That's
for.
what I wanted.
In that swap match, yeah. So that was interesting to see that. But after the ring implosion, cue Roman Reigns music, comes out with Paul Heyman, signs the contract, and comes to the ring, does his thing on the chair shots first on Braun, and then
there's been a recent trend in the last how many weeks, 7-8 weeks, of chairs being vicious. The chairs from Rollins to Dominic, the chairs from Roman last night, they are laying them in lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this was like a no holds barred, so he was able to do that, and the mandible claw was put on him by the Fiend, but then Fiend got the low blow, and then we got the spear.
Spear and Strowman.
Yeah, so ding ding
1,
ding.
2, 3. There it is. New champion. I think this is a perfect time. We need new Roman Reigns music. I think that music has to go.
And he's been coming out in that wreck everyone and leave shirt, but I think it means new attire too once he starts wrestling.
Sure. It's ironic that wreck everyone and leave shirt, because it sounds like Braun Strowman. Sometimes WWE puts it right in front of our face. I've heard Damien say this to me for 22 years. There are times that it's right. I just had this revelation right now, folks. You are hearing this happen in my tiny little pea brain in my Milwaukee public school education. Sometimes it's right in front of us the whole time. That shirt, doesn't it sound eerily familiar to something that Brock Lesnar used to have?
Eat, sleep,
yes.
conquer, repeat?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had that shirt on before we knew he was with Paul Heyman.
Interesting.
They put it right in front of us. They
just
told
interesting.
Us.
It's just so interesting that Paul Heyman's even with Roman Reigns, just because that whole feud and rivalry between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and now here they are.
That's my only problem with it too. Roman Reigns. Now I want you to hear me out, Linda, and everybody listening here. I want you to hear me out. There's two separate entities here. There's Roman Reigns, the man, and then Roman Reigns, the character. No one is ever going to, judge or give Roman Reigns any kind of heat for not being around. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, we know what's going on in the world. We know what's going on with Roman's body and his health. It's just now Roman Reigns, the character, used all that Roman Reigns, the man, to become a face. Now, this dude just shows up and he gets a title match and he wins. There's a little disconnect there for me. Yes, he's a heel, but I mean, he gave Brock Lesnar the same heat about how he never showed up and Roman Reigns was there every single week working. Mm-hmm. So now he's with Paul Heyman doing the same thing Brock Lesnar does. Will he show up more than Brock Lesnar? Probably. I mean, I think we can assume that he's going to show up more than Brock Lesnar will.
Yeah.
But still, like I said, it's a small nit to pick, but that's my nit to pick.
Well, I mean, the fans wanted, or the majority, I guess it's safe to say, of the IWC wanted to see Roman Reigns be a heel. They got it, yet I still hear the boos when they are even showing Paul Heyman. So I'm like, what gives? What gives?
Yeah. But like I said, clean up Roman's character a little bit. Excuse me. I don't need the tact vest anymore. And I think the music's got to go because that's original Shield music.
Shield, yeah. I think I agree with that, with the new attire as well, and new music. It'll really, really change. They're going to do this 180 on him. Let's fully do it.
I mean, he had his teeth done too. I mean, his teeth look great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But those aren't heel teeth. Those are movie star teeth.
Yes. But great to see it back nonetheless. So.
Well, folks, that was WWE's Payback. We've got more wrestling coming up actually this Saturday. It's going to be the big one from AEW, All Out. Speaking about PWR draft, like I said, I personally only scored 5 points. We've got another big pay-per-view. Let's talk about that real quick. For Payback, Dave Hero, the big score, the big win, really the big winner of the pay-per-view, 245 points. He had the entire main event. He had the main event last week during SummerSlam. You add in Roman Reigns. He had Roman Reigns too. Coming up this Saturday, Dave Hero has that main event also with Jon Moxley and MJF. He scored 245 points this week. Next big scorer, Andrew Baydala with the title win for Shayna Baszler. Linda Kay, welcome, Linda Kay. 70 points for two talents, one with an appearance, one with a match and a win. And Damian Nelson even scoring 60 points. These are the new updated unofficial, because unless something happens, then they'll be official. Here's the updated unofficial totals. I still lead, but I feel like I got some heat. Somebody's breathing on my neck. It's starting to get a little warm back there. 1,340 points. David Hero, 1,140 points. Damian Nelson in third with 775 points. Andrew Baydala at 680. Linda, 605. But it's anybody's game, because remember, AEW are double points. I don't like the sound of that now that I say it, because Dave has the main event in AEW's biggest pay-per-view of all time. Plus, the Casino Battle Royale is counted as a Money in the Bank match. Mm-hmm. So that means that is whoever wins that. Also, big points. Dollar bills, y'all.
Should be a good one.
Gonna be a good one. So again, folks, make sure you're checking out all the content from the PWR. We've got lots of it coming up. And plus, we didn't even talk about our sponsor yet. And Linda, I saved this kind of talk for Matthew because, we're just a couple clowns. But manscaped.com, mm-hmm. I've got mine coming. Make sure you're heading on over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code PWR. You can get up to 20% off and actually get yourself some great grooming. I mean, they got the lawnmower there. I've seen the TV commercials actually popping up now too. So make sure you're using the promo code PWR for 20% off. You can get yourself a toiletry bag. I think they got a whole bunch of other specials there too. So take yourself from the Sahara Forest down to the Sahara Desert if you have to. So for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.